Welcome to Tech Matters, part of Live Matters, where we are showcasing some extraordinary tech for events or around events. And what better way to start in an extraordinary experience in virtual reality? And I have to say, this is my first ever live interview in virtual reality. I've been playing with this headset all week. I've had an amazing time just learning about this incredible space. But I'm very fortunate to be with one of the leaders in virtual reality, Alvin Graylin. He's the president of HTC in China. Alvin, please, well, firstly, thank you for I invited you to speak at our event, but you've now invited me into your world. So can you tell me, where are we?
So you're actually at the Vive event stage. This is where we held one of our recent conferences for our own partners and customers. Except, normally we have a lot more people, but we're using one corner of it right now for our interview, and in front of a nice outdoor scene of a big cityscape, I guess a more Shanghai cityscape behind us, in front of the harbor. So, and we could be anywhere. I think that's really the beauty of VR, is that we can be anywhere and we can be anyone. And I love your hair, by the way, and I like the creativity that you're using this medium to express yourself.
Like I said, we've had a lot of fun this week learning about VR. But I'm the dinosaur here. I'm learning. This is brand new to me. But who are you working with? Which clients are you working with? And how are they using VR in their events?
So I think from the event space, we're working with all kinds of brands, Balenciaga and Peacebird, and a number of auto brands. We just did an event with Audi recently. We're working with some educational facilities, universities. So it's quite a few different things. Concerts, a lot of artists, as well as I think Accenture also did a event here, as well as Fidelity has also done some events. So it's just a lot of different industries for events. But I think in general, VR is being used across the board in almost all industries, from design to healthcare to education to entertainment. It is definitely a technology that has a lot of potential, and it's just starting.
Of those industries that you mentioned, who do you think, which industries are getting it right, and what are they doing?
Well, I think the industries that are getting it right now are probably more in the design and engineering space. We have companies like Bell Helicopters, which normally takes 5 to 7 years to build a new helicopter. By designing and doing all the editing and feedback in VR, they were able to produce a working model in 6 months and get it flying. Right? I mean, this is like crazy schedule. We can't even build a phone in 6 months, and they built a helicopter in 6 months. So, or you have people designing, interiors of homes or large buildings, designing cars. I think that industry is definitely the design, engineering, architecture space is a very, very productivity improvement by using VR. If you look at in the healthcare area, people are using it for post-traumatic stress, for kind of sensitivity to ethnic groups or to harassment. If you're doing training for doing surgery, you don't want a doctor to perform their first surgery using a real patient, right? So to have performed it in a virtual space, have a doctor, a real doctor, oversee them performing it, to then go into a physical operation. What I think the University of Oxford did a study and found that 80% of them were able to complete a simple procedure without any interference. But if they did it with only in books and video, they actually 100% of them required intervention to finish. So I think the value of learning and educating in VR is huge, right? Driving schools, right? We actually one of the best applications I've seen is actually China's biggest driving school, which is in Beijing. They graduate about 250,000 students a year, and they've had every one of their students do 50 plus scenarios of driving at night, driving with snow, driving with a cat running in front of you. What do you do? And by having that, they were able to double the initial pass rates on their physical driving test. So it is huge improvements in terms of real validation for things like anything that requires safety or hazards. If you're a fireman or if you're a policeman and you need to deal with certain dangerous situations, to simulate that in VR first. So that your body's reactions, your muscle memory is all there, so that you're not shooting the wrong person or you're not afraid of of certain fire scenarios. Those kind of things you can do without having any danger to the participants or the people around them.
Talking about having people around them, I think my family are actually in the room right now with me, probably looking at me like I'm completely mad. Something I was looking at as well is there's a lot going on. I've got these hands, I've got buttons, and is there a danger that there's too much going on, that I end up clicking on everything and not actually focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing?
Well, I think whenever you have a new gadget, whether it's a phone or a PC or a VR device, you're going to spend a little bit of time getting used to it. But after that first 5-10 minutes, and what the buttons do, then you actually forget you're in VR. I think that's really the beauty of immersion, is that you're in this environment where your hands are moving, your head are turning, and everything's behaving as if you're in the real world. And when I'm looking at you and you're nodding your head or you're moving your hands, that body language gives me the same kind of feedback I would get if I was face to face with you, right? And I can see you blinking, I can see your mouth moving. And so we actually start communicating to each other as if we were face to face. I think that's what really the magic of VR is, that you forget you're in the machine. As soon as you spend time and you're facing whatever the subject is, whether you're playing a game or whether you're having an interview, you become engrossed in that particular task.
So I was going to say, has TikTok got into VR yet? Because it's just waiting for it.
Yeah, actually, some of the most popular these KOLs, key opinion leaders, are actually doing things like Beat Saber. I know you were playing Beat Saber recently. They would do it in a VR environment, have it filmed, and then post it onto a TikTok or a Douyin or YouTube or whatever as part of their promotional models. And I know some of the there's always very funny videos of people using VR the first time, and they're super scared when a zombie jumps out, or when they would punch a TV screen because they're boxing. These kind of things are it just shows how people forget that they're just in the machine.
So I mean, this really is an incredible experience, and just kind of sitting here and looking around and seeing Shanghai behind you and some amazing cityscapes. But where do you think that virtual reality would actually exceed a live experience? I know you've touched on where they work together, where they complement each other. But yes, is there an example where it exceeds a live experience?
Yeah,
certainly as a consumer.
Yeah, I think from let's say if you were learning astrophysics, and you want to understand how the planets work and the gravity between them, or to be able to imagine the size of these objects, or to be able to go into the size and look at the subatomic particles, or to look at cellular structures, right? To be able to get to those kind of sizes is not possible for us as humans. But when you go into VR, you could be any size, you could have any time frame, and you can have full interaction. Like right now, I grab this cup and I can pick it up, but this could also be a atom, right? It could be a electron, and by picking it up and knowing how these things work, right? Cheers, right? And I can drop it, and you can see there's physics of it, knowing that it drops. Right. So if I wanted to teach physics, or I want to teach chemistry, it's actually easier for me to express this than to do it on a blackboard, or to do it even on video, right? And having people, let's say I wanted to show the force of attraction between two atoms, I may actually have them hold two pieces of it and be able to pull, and then see that when I let go, they actually come back together, right? So they're just things that I think are easier. Or like, say you want to go underwater and you want to see different types of fishes, unless you're putting on a snorkel or a diving gear, you can't really go underwater. And to do it together with a group of people, so that you have an instructor to show you what to do when you go into a wreck, and not to be afraid, and how to breathe, all these things that if you're a diving student, would be really great training for you. Right. So those are just a few examples of where the VR experience may actually be better than the physical experience, at least initially. And then maybe later on, if you are able to go to into the real water with the real snorkel gear, or the real scuba gear, then you're not new to it.
Okay, so let's take that one stage further. And I must say, I've been watching a lot of YouTube's got a 360-degree VR channel with hundreds and maybe thousands, millions of videos, and going underwater or on roller coasters, and really kind of some deep experience. Do you think that VR ultimately could even replace some live experiences?
Absolutely. I think, live events and performances, if you think about it right now, when you go to a live performance, you buy a ticket and you're in a fixed seat. Right. And if you don't have a lot of money and you're not in the front row, you're pretty much, you can see the shape of the person, but you can't see the face of the actor or the performer that you're interested in. You can't move around to different places. To be able to go into a virtual event where that performer, you could be right next to them, right? You could be on stage with them. And how many people get to go on stage with their favorite celebrity? Very few. But in VR, everybody can do that, right? Everybody can be in the front row, and you could be sitting next to Lady Gaga or Jay-Z, and that's an experience that I think a lot of people would wish they could have, that they cannot have in the real world, but everybody can have in the virtual world.
I did actually notice there's a few artists that we've worked with in the past. Vidya Vox, a wonderful artist in India, has a number of her concerts up live in VR on her YouTube channel, and so it was great fun standing on stage next to her. A lot of the conversations this week at Live Matters is about the transition from real life events to virtual events, and then coming back. Yeah, and something in the middle, and people are talking about hybrid, but I don't know if anyone actually knows what hybrid really is right now, because we're all getting there, we're all learning. But how do you think VR might be able to work with live events in a hybrid fashion? Do they co-locate?
Yeah, so last year we actually did a couple of these hybrid events where we have essentially a digital twin of a physical event in VR. And so for the people that were able to travel to the physical location, they would have a full physical event. But for the people who weren't, they actually were able to get into their headset or even onto their PC to be able to experience a spatial participation in that event. And so, to essentially allow the two groups of attendees to interact with each other and to be able to have a shared experience. I think that is the kind of where we're going long term. If you think about it, right now people are talking about hybrid work model where maybe 1 day a week you go to the office, but 4 days a week you're working from home. I think we're gonna have that type of a model for all aspects of our life, right? Whether you're talking about school or work or going to somebody's birthday party, or attending somebody's wedding. Now times it's hard to go, travel to go attend weddings now. But if they can do a hybrid wedding where it may be a small private wedding for the people who are there, but for the attendees, there may be 1,000 people that can attend virtually to share that, celebrate that event together.
And I guess that leads to a very important question here. I mean, we're showing this amazing experience, but I am wearing a headset, and as I said, I'm sitting in the middle of a room with my family and pets. Probably I've got 2 cats, probably thinking I'm crazy at the moment. But one of the biggest challenges to virtual reality and to events and experiences within virtual reality. I mean, obviously we need to buy a headset, but are they going to be getting smaller? Are they going to be more accessible?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the biggest problem right now is there just aren't enough devices out there in the real world, right? So, and people are not used to using them. I mean, even you who have seen a lot of things, have been a lot of places, but this is the first time you're actually using virtual reality, right? And so, 99% of people in the world have never tried on a VR device. I think that's the biggest burden. But the good news is, like you're saying, these devices are going to get cheaper. They're going to get smaller. They're going to get more clear. They're going to get lighter, and they're going to get easier to use, right? And so, within 5 years, they will be, I think, similar to what we are today with phones in terms of how convenient they are and how accessible they are. So I think it'll take us a little bit of time for getting everybody to change their mindset of looking at a screen from their pocket that they put into their hands to looking at a screen that's in front of their face. But it will happen fairly soon, and when it does happen, and it will it will happen gradually. But when it gets to a certain critical mass, it will the second half or the second 2/3 will happen very, very quickly, because everybody will say, "Oh, well, my friend's able to join this thing, and they can move their hands and arms and they can walk around, but I can't. I can only look at a 2D screen. I want to have that experience too." So I think that's going to be, we're getting very close to kind of the iPhone or the Android moment of kind of 2007, 2008 period when a couple of devices came out and everybody wanted to have that type of a device. Within the next 2 or 3 years, that will happen. And then within the next 5 or 6 years, I think people will all have those in their homes.
And will everyone have red curly hair?
Well, I think you've got you trademark on that. I think you can keep that. Not everybody can pull it off.
But let's look into the future. What does the future really hold for virtual reality, and what's really exciting for Alvin?
Well, I think that the future is that the screen that's on your head will be your only screen. I think that's what's going to be really exciting. Right now, we have 6 or 7 screens in our life, from our TV to our computers to our phones, to a cinema screen. Pretty soon, all of those screens, including the billboards that are on the roads or on the buildings, will be replaced by virtual screens that are in front of your eyes, and they will be available anytime. I think that's, rather than having to go in your pocket to pick something out and then, type in a passcode to be able to see it, whatever information you need will be in front of your eyes and be able to respond to you, whether your hands or respond to your eye blinks or to respond to your voice instantly. So it'll turn us all into super intelligent beings, because any information we need is immediately accessible. Right. So whereas even today, it's pretty convenient to go and say, "Hey Siri, can you tell me something?" But later on, you don't even have to bring anything out. You just look at it and you can have that information. Or if we're just meeting in the street, my camera can recognize, "Hey, this is Jasper, and he just posted his holiday pictures to Hawaii, and I can ask him about that." And so I would essentially never have to go to a conference and forget who I'm talking to anymore. right? I think those kind of capabilities make us all superhumans. We could even have sensors on these glasses that can see infrared or see ultraviolet, and so if you're walking in the dark, you can still see where you're going. If you're nearsighted, you can actually get information brought closer to you. So it gives us all powers that we wish we would have. So I'm actually really excited about the potential of this technology to democratize information and to improve overall population intelligence. And the more intelligent, the more educated we are as a human being, the more peaceful we are going to be, and the better life will be, and the more ability for us to leverage the innate creativity in humans, because now we're less about spending all our hours trying to memorize things. We'll all be 200 plus IQ. I mean, that's going to be crazy, because there's pretty much any problems that are out there today that people haven't been able to solve will get solved by somebody, because now anybody can put on a headset and go to Harvard or Stanford or MIT, right? And hear the best lectures and feel like they're in a classroom and really experience what it's like to get higher education. I mean, there's so many societal and personal benefits of this technology when it becomes prevalent.
I mean, this is absolutely fascinating. I mean, I love the idea of seeing someone and being fed information about them, because and this concept of not forgetting their names ever again, and maybe even I mean, this is an event about the entertainment business or the live event business. You've just predicted the end of the lanyard as well, because no one's going to need a thing around the neck anymore. But thank you so much for sharing this experience with us. Thank you for spending time, and hopefully we'll have in the future thousands of people at one of our events, hanging out by a pool and having a great time and meeting up. So, but thank you for now. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me, and hopefully we added some value here. There you go. See, can you feel that? You can feel the haptics. Did your controller shake a little bit?
I felt that, I think I also.
Yeah.
So cool.
So this is what's missing today. You cannot do that on Zoom, right? You cannot shake somebody's hand. In fact, if I give you a hug, we could actually feel it, the vibration in our hands. I think it's that personal touch is what separates VR. It creates real memories instead of just seeing somebody on screen. There you go. See, we're both standing up.
Oh, there's a hug.
There you go.
Oh, yes.
See,
that's really important in China.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Thank you, Alvin.
Thank you. High five.